Hiya, my name's Stuart, and today I'm going to show you how to make some coil pots. Due to recent events, we can't do pottery at Hougue Bie this spring, so I'm having to do it from this space for you so you can see it online. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a wide range of pots. We're going to be making some easy pinch pots like this, and we're going to make some fairly easy flat coil pots like this, and perhaps a coil pot with a round base like that, and then maybe one that changes its shape, maybe like a variation, one that's perhaps smooth, one that's smooth here, one that's coiled, and maybe something a bit more sculptural. This is a beehive coil pot that I made. And then for anyone who wants to try something a bit more difficult, so we've got nowhere to go, so we've got plenty of time, see if you can tackle this Egyptian box of delights. This is a slab pot, and I'll show you how to make one of those. And that's a box with a lid. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is to show you the tools you will need. Let me just move these pots off here because I've only got this small table. I would like to say actually as well, which I forgot to say, I'd like to welcome back any of the members who'd been to the pottery workshops in the past at Hougue Bie or at the museum when it was handmade Jersey. Be great to see you again, and also welcome anyone else who's new who'd like to try and do this. Okay. First of all, these are the basic tools you'll need. You'll find them around the house. I put a little exercise where I go around looking for things that could be used as tools. They don't necessarily have to be pottery tools. You can find them in the kitchen, in the living room, in the garage. It's quite fun to find. Then you'll need a rolling pin. I've got a decent ruler, one of those. I seem to have some newspaper here, and we have a coconut shell. I'll show you how to use that later. I have some tape, some sandpaper, I've got a mask in case it's too dusty. Don't forget your mask, that's that. We have a lid to cut round, a dish to cut round. I found a terracotta ramekin. You have a sponge, and you've got a kitchen knife. I found that one. I've got a stick with a sponge. I made that. I'll show you what that may be used for later. Then we've got some paint brushes, you'll need those. And we have a set square, that comes in handy for measuring and cutting. Another ruler, and then I've got a hacksaw blade, that's to cut the clay with because I don't have a cheese wire. Cheese wire is good, you can run the wire through the clay. I don't have one, so I made a hacksaw blade there. And I've got a rolling pin, probably mentioned that. And you'll need some dry cloths, like a kind of tea towel maybe. Yeah. And then we have wooden guiders. Probably cut these pieces of wood, or maybe you'll find them. All you've got to remember is that the wood is of the same thickness on both sides. So it has to be exactly like that. Maybe you could get someone to cut some, or you could cut some. Make sure they're level, and I'll show you how to use those later as well. And this
could you use two rulers?
Perhaps maybe, but the clay would roll too thin. The clay needs to be at least 9mm thick, so I tend to use a guider of about 9mm, maybe 10mm. Then we have some slip. The slip is made from mixing the solid clay with water, turn it into a liquid, a mush.
So it's runny clay?
Yes, it acts like a glue.
Okay.
And I'll show you how to use that later as well. And if you've got a hairdryer would be really handy. I don't have a hairdryer, so I've got this heat gun. I really don't like using it because I could burn myself. But this kind of clay, it's called a scola, so it's S-C-O-L-A. You can also use NCP. You can get NCP from Paperclicks, but I don't think it's open at the moment. You can get the scola from Amazon, maybe get it delivered to your house. And these two types of clay, certainly the scola is a nylon reinforced clay, and so it takes really well to being dried with a hairdryer. Other clays like a terracotta may crack from the heat, but you will find that this fibre clay is quite tough. You can dry it with a hairdryer, so instead of spending 3 hours waiting for something to dry, you can dry it inside of a few minutes maybe. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all this away, and then I'm going to set up and I'm going to show you how to make the first pinch pot. Okay.